Okay guys, it's happened sahlangana with S&L Academy. Today I just want to discuss my week, ukuthi ihambe kanjani, the challenges, the ups and downs, what's great, what's good, ne? So in terms of ngayo, I think a lot of you are aware I am a professional nurse. So guys, into engicela ningibalansise ngayo, especially labantu laba abanama medical aid, because guys angifuni ungasho abantu abanama medical aid they are bullies. And then in order for you to understand ukuthi labantu abanama medical aid they are bullies, you have to be a nurse, because abantu abababhulishayo it's always us ama nurse. Ukuthi why benza kanjalo angazi bafethu, ne? So there is an incident whereby it happened recently or last weekend, ne? And then there was this male nurse obesebenza in neonatal ICU. In neonatal ICU, it's basically premature babies lezi zingane ezizalwe before time. And then uthola ukuthi ngolimi esilijwayele kuthiwa zikhulela ebhodleleni, you understand, or eglassini or whatever, ngengolimi nje esilijwayele, ne, but isuke izalwe before isikhathi and have to stay there until kuze kuphele lesi sikhathi sazo, ne? So this male nurse lo was allocated ukuthi kumele asebenze on this one of these babies, and lo mntwana apparently udoctor bethe usezophuma, ne? So basically uma wakhe bese breastfeeder and what not and what, ne? So this lady yafonela husband yayo ukuthi is not comfortable with a male nurse looking after umntwana wakhe, ne? So now I'm not sure ukuthi how do you have a pediatrician who's a male, ube ne gynecologist who's a male, but you are not comfortable with a male nurse? Ukuthi how does that work? Yabo. I do respect the right of the lady to say I'm not comfortable with a male nurse. Okay, so now bafethu ngoba ngisho uthini, I'm not following this ukuthi you have a problem with the male nurse, or when do you disrespect a male nurse, or do you belittle a male nurse, ne? Because now ikayine yakho it's a male, your pediatrician it's a male, ne? So now what is the problem with a male nurse looking after your baby, ne? Or being present around you, ne? Because for me now that is disrespect towards a profession, and that is discrimination, and basically discriminating a male person, whereby no one chooses their sex or gender, ne? No one just comes and say mina ngifuna ukuba gay, or mina ngifuna ukuba trans, or mina ngifuna ukuba kaso, or I want to be a woman, you understand? But that's what comes with nature, ukuthi umuntu is born a male and is born a female, you understand? Even if someone have to tell you they are gay, or they are lesbian, or they are trans, ne, you still have a responsibility to respect that person's choice of sex, you understand? So I will never understand lento yokuthi kube khona females are discriminator male nurses based on their sexes, because it feels like as a male nurse, we always have to prove ourselves ukuthi we are good enough as our female colleagues. We can do the job as them, and we are competent as them, and also we've studied the same ethics and rules as nursing, but otherwise I think lento can only be changed by private institutions, because the problem is basically in private institutions, like njengoba bengimtshela ukuthi abantu abanama medical aid they are very arrogant and they are very bullish. Bullish in I'm not sure even if this is the right term, but they baba mabully, ne? Because as a nurse izinto that we have to go through dealing with these people, it's emotionally and psychologically draining. These people, they will come into our workplace, read our documentation while it's not allowed, ne? but because these private institutions, they want to accommodate them and they want to make them happy, and they always say lento yokuthi a patient is always correct, even if they are not correct, but they have that saying yokuthi a patient is always correct. So at our expense as nurses, and then we end up getting bullied by these people with no one to run to, with no one to defend us. But otherwise, I just want each and every person, maybe you will have a baby, maybe they've even told you what you might end up in NICU or whatever. Just take Lendo into consideration. How would you feel about your son being discriminated at work because of their sex? Because they didn't choose to have Leo sex, they didn't choose. And if it was not appropriate or it was incorrect for male nurses to be in the profession of nursing, it would have been said from the word go. Then we wouldn't be spending our monies extending we must go and study in nursing. And if it was not appropriate for our male nurses to be our midwife, it would have been said with no, male nurses cannot assist women giving birth. So it's funny how a woman complain about men discriminating them in workplaces and belittling them in workplaces, because some men will feel that a woman cannot be a CEO or a woman cannot be, in the bathroom. So basically, as a male nurse, this is what I'm experiencing, and this is what some male nurses out there are experiencing. We have to do twice what the woman can do in order just for us to prove we can do this job. As much as we did the same training, as much as we go through the same experiences, but still we are not respected, and some people, they just feel good when they can just say based on this person being a male, I'm not comfortable with them, and then everything must just stop. And then also I just want to discuss what recently happened last week, which was great news. Bitcoin, it was accepted by Pick n Pay. Pick n Pay is one of the biggest supermarkets in South Africa, so it is a great move. I think Sbuda, I was speaking with you about Bitcoin last week, which was great news. Bitcoin, it was accepted by Pick n Pay. Pick n Pay is one of the biggest supermarkets in South Africa, so it is a great move. I think Sbuda, I was speaking with you about Bitcoin last week or the week before. So I think as Lama use case a Bitcoin is Kubeka, whereby now people can buy food, they can do their groceries in Bitcoin. It's just a matter of time before you can buy a motor using your Bitcoin, buy a house using your Bitcoin, and then maybe that time some people will catch up explaining what is happening. And then also, yeah, guys, let's try and keep pushing in by investing. Let's try and keep pushing in by knowledge and information. I know maybe some of you will be like, okay, what does this whole thing Yobnesi has to do with what? But at the end of the day, this is how we earn our money. So now if there's a person who's just gonna discriminate you based on your sex, and then what happened, we all know that Lama corporate companies will do anything it takes just to please a customer. So where does that leave emailness? So it's leave emailness out of job. So that person will no longer be able to make money simply because they are females who are stereotyped, who still living in the era of villages, and then they don't want to move forward with time, because one must understand that there were times whereby we were using emails and then we have to move. We were using letters, right? Letters, then now we use emails. So you can't when I try and enforce in the letters, man. We're using emails, they are convenient, they move fast. So yeah, like I just hope I'm a medical aid will do something like, I'm a patient, they say they have rights and responsibilities. So you have rights and then you have responsibilities, so you have to know your rights and responsibilities. So I wish our Discovery can come through and create something that will be responsibilities of people that they have as their members. Because guys, I'm going to now I do have a medical aid, ne? Abantu abamena medical aid South Africa bully, and they are very arrogant, and then the only people who have to suffer and the only people who experience is that it's the nurses, unfortunately.